Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll start with the third chapter of economics. The name of the chapter is demand analysis. In this chapter we are having two parts. This is part A and another is the elasticity of demand. This is the part B. We will start with the chapter that is what do you understand by demand? See, every time we are telling in the market के market में demand बढ़ गया, market में demand बढ़ गया. What do you understand by demand? क्या demand है क्या actually? Demand is nothing but the actual purchasing. अभी देखो हम मार्केट में तो जाते हैं, बट समझो इफ सपोज अगर वी आर नॉट परचेसिंग एनीथिंग, वी कांट से इट्स अ डिमांड अनलेस एंड अनटिल इफ यू आर नॉट परचेसिंग एनीथिंग. Actually we are not purchasing anything by paying anything, then we can't say it's a demand. Demand is nothing but the actual purchasing. That means we are actually purchasing from the market and the demand for that product has been increased. Then only we can say it's a demand. And for the demand, first of all we need to have a desire. Desire is nothing but the need. See here, I had mentioned over here, my arrow is there, that is a desire. Desire means need for a commodity which is supported by ability and willingness to pay. Ability means what? You are having a capacity to pay for it. And willingness, उसके लिए चाहत भी होना चाहिए. Internally you should have to be willing to pay for that. Sometimes क्या होता है, हमारे पास तो ability तो है, desire भी हमारी, but we are not willing to pay for it. That means कि हमारी हैसियत नहीं है, हमारी ability, हमारी अंदर से intrinsic value is not telling के we have to pay for that. Sometimes देखो हम जाते हैं मार्केट में मोबाइल परचेस करने, our budget is having a 10,000 only, but the mobile is for 20,000. So that times क्या है, क्या हमारे पास नीड तो है, हमारी तो नीड तो है, हमारे पास एबिलिटी भी है पे करने के लिए, बट हमारा बजट सिर्फ 10,000 का है. That times we are not willing to pay for that mobile. So we can't say it's a demand. For a demand, three things should be necessary. First, your desire, ability and willingness to pay for it. Then only we can say it's a demand. For example, if we take the example of a beggar is having a need. A beggar wants to purchase a BMW car or any car. He's having a need, okay, but he's not having ability and the willingness to pay for it. Then only we can say it's a demand. Then nextly, if we take the example of Ambani, rich people, they are having ability to pay for it, willingness to pay for it, but they are not having a need. So then also we can't say it's a demand. For a demand, we should have a desire to pay for it, desire to buy for it, ability to pay for it, and willingness to pay for it. Then only we can say it's a demand. This is the actual meaning of demand. Demand is nothing but the actual purchasing. When we are actually purchasing the product, then only we can say it's a demand. Nextly, if you'll see, there is a price. See, price of a product. Here I will explain you the determinants of demand. See, first is the determinants of demand, that is the price of a particular product. See, in the market, when a price of a particular product increases, the demand for that product will be decreases. And when the price of that particular product decreases, the demand for the actual purchasing of that product increases. Second is the price of related product. Related product is nothing but the substitute product. Like if I take the example of tea and coffee, like if suppose the price of the tea will be increases in the market and the demand for the coffee will be increases in the market, and secondly, if the price of the coffee will be increases in the market, the demand for the tea will be increases in the market. Nextly, the income, that is a consumer income. If suppose the day by day the income of the consumer increases, the demand for the product will also increases. Nextly, consumer taste and the preference. The demand for a particular product will be depends upon the consumer taste and the consumer income. If suppose day by day the consumer taste and preference will be changes, the day by day the taste and the preference or the fashion will be changes day by day, the demand for that product will not come to know. So it depends upon the taste and preference and the fashion. So nextly, advertisement expenditure. As more and more advertisement expenditure if you do on a particular product, the demand for that product will also increases. Consumer expectation. If suppose the consumer expect about the future, in future the price of the product will be increases, and any particular product price will be increases, the demand for the product will be increases in present time. If suppose in present time the product if suppose in present time the consumer predict कि in future the price of the product will be decreases, so in present time they will not purchase the product, in the future they will purchase. Nextly is a demonstration effect. Demonstration effect मतलब क्या है कि हम किसी को देख के हम वो फैशन को अपनाते हैं. लाइक सलमान खान ने अगर समझो बीइंग ह्यूमन का टी शर्ट ले गया है, तो दैट टाइम द डिमांड फॉर दैट टी शर्ट विल बी इंक्रीज. दैट इज अ डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन इफेक्ट. Then nextly the population of the country. As day by day the population of the country increases, the demand for the product will also increases, and the population decreases, the demand for the product will be increased. Nextly the distribution of income. If suppose the income of the nation increases, the demand for the product will also increases, and as the inversely the demand the income of the country will decreases, the demand for the product will also increase. This is the last point. Next slide. See, here I will explain you the law of demand. What do you understand by the law of demand? First of all, this law of demand is given by the Alfred Marshall. This in law of demand, they are telling the other things being equal. Other things means what? That is the determinants of demand. That should be a constant except price. Why the price is not included? The law of demand is to indicate when the price decreases. See here, when the price decreases, the demand for the product increases. Okay, here when the price of any product increase, here they have written the price of any product increases, the demand, then the demand will fall. And when the price decreases, then the demand for the product will be increases in the market. This is the actual law of demand. In that, then the law of demand, the one word should be mentioned, that is the other things should be equal. Okay, right hand side they had mentioned that demand and schedule of the law of demand. See, on the left hand side they had mentioned the price per unit, on the right hand side they had mentioned the quantity demanded. When the price of a particular product, see here, when the price of a particular product is 10, the demand for the product will be 50. Okay, as the price get decreases, okay, the demand for the product will be increases. Okay, so this shows an inverse relationship between price and demand. When the price increases, demand falls, and when the price decreases, demand increases. Okay, nextly, this can be explained with the help of diagram also. On the x-axis we have taken the quantity demanded, on the y-axis we have taken the price. See, in that when the price is 10, see, this one is when the price is 10. Here, when the price is 10, my demand is 50 kg. Okay, that means, see, this one point, what I had drawn over here. Okay, as the price decreases, okay, as the price decreases, the demand for the product will be increases. This shows a downward sloping from left to right. This curve, see, this one is the black curve. This shows a downward sloping from left to right. That means, and it shows an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. This is the actual law of demand, what they want to explain us. Another, we are having a topic of exceptions to the law of demand. Exceptions means what? These things which we are not including in the law of demand. That means if the price of the product decreases, the demand will also decreases in the exceptions of demand. But here in that, when the price of the product increases, the demand will not be affected in the exceptions to the law of demand. That's why it has been except to the law of demand. That means it will not be included in the law of demand. First exception to the law of demand, that is here if you see the price expectation. If you expect about the price of the future, the demand for the present will be affected. In the law of demand, we don't have to expect about the future price. What will be happen in the future? What is going to happen in the future? We don't have to. We don't have to do all these things. Only हमको देखना है कि हमारा प्रेजेंट में कितना प्राइस है, and accordingly we have to purchase the things. Nextly, the types of good. See, types of goods also it will affect the law of demand. See, here if you are purchasing the pen, see, if the demand for a pen increases, then the demand for ink will not increases. See, before what we are using, okay, we are using a ink. Okay, now if the price of the pen will be increases, the demand for the ink will not be increases. Why? That now the pattern has been changed. The types of goods. See, now most of the people are not using the ink pen. like ink bottle and all these things. They are using a ball pen only directly. So the demand for the ball pen ball pen increases when the price also increases. The demand for the pen will not be affected. Nextly, change in the taste and the fashion. As day by day the change in the taste and the fashion is getting changes. See, here they had given the example of telephone. Before they are using the telephone, now they are using the mobile phones. But now the expectation of the consumer regarding the mobile phones getting day by day increases. Why? Because the mobile phones are coming with the new features. So that's why the demand for that increases. When when the price of the product, when the price of the mobile is getting increases, the demand for also that product will be increases. Then nextly, the change in the income. If suppose day by day your income will be increases. See, here they had given only one, here they had given the more than one. So that's why the change in income. If the income is getting changes day by day, the demand for also product will also getting the change day by day. Nextly, they had given the emergency situation. In emergency situation, like if suppose in natural calamity affected, or if any emergency situation, like you require that product as soon as possible, so at that time you are not watching the price of a particular product, you are purchasing at any cost at anyhow. So that's why the demand will not be the law in these things. Also in emergency situation also, the law of demand will not be counted. Okay. Nextly, if you will see here, wearable goods, Giffen good. This concept has been come from the England, Giffen goods. That what they had Giffen paradox. This also causes Giffen paradox or the inferior goods. What they had doing, that if suppose they are getting before they are getting a bread packet of rupees bread packet of rupees 10, and after that the price of the bread has been slashed down to 8. So what they are doing, they are not purchasing more and more bread. What they are doing, the 2 rupees, the above 2 rupees, they are purchasing, they are the extra income, they are purchasing the meat instead of purchasing the bread. Second is the wearable goods. Wearable goods is nothing but the luxurious goods. These goods are they are purchasing for the luxurious purpose, they are purchasing for the status purpose. That's why this will not be included in the law of demand. This I had explained you about the future price. Nextly, emergencies also I had explained you. Ignorance, if you will suppose ignore about the price in the present, and if you will think about the future, that's why these things will also not included in the law of demand. Then change in fashion and the taste also I had explained you. Then conspicuous necessities. Conspicuous necessity means conspicuous necessity, like see, it is same like that wearable goods, same the goods are the people purchasing the goods for the status purpose. It is not a necessary, it is for the conspicuous person only. They want to show the status in the society. That's why it will not included in the law of demand. This one is the last slide, that is a variation in the law of variation in the demand. Variation means what? Changes in demand. As we know, the demand is not constant every time. The demand is getting changed day by day. Every day the demand is getting changes. Why? Because in our economy, the economy is not stable. That's why the demand is there is some variation in the law, in the variation in the changes in the demand. This in variation also in demand, this has been getting divided into 2 parts, that is change in the demand and expansion and contraction in demand. First we will see the change in the demand. See, on the x-axis we are taking the quantity only, on the y-axis we are taking the price. This is our main, this blue line. See, in the middle line, this is blue line, that is a D1 curve. That is the main law of demand curve. That is, we can say when the price increases, demand decreases. But in the change in the demand, the price will not be changed. Only the demand will be changed. If suppose the increase in demand, suppose there will be increase in demand at a constant price, we will get a new demand curve, that is a D2. That is, it shift to the right side. And if the demand will decreases at the constant price, the demand curve will be shift to the left hand side. That is, this is only the comparison between the change in the demand, that is the increase in demand, and the decrease in demand. And another concept is the contraction in demand. Contraction means what? The demand will be decreases, and extension means what? The demand will be increases. See, here they had given the price. When the price increases, automatically the demand will be decreases, and when the price decreases, automatically the demand will be increases. So here they had given the curve, that is a upper curve. The demand upper curve, they had shown the contraction of demand, and the lower curve, that is lower arrow, they had shown the extension, that is expansion of demand curve. If you have any doubts regarding this chapter also, you can contact me on my detail. Thank you very much.